You crack an egg into a pan. It looks like every other egg you have ever used. Round, brown, or white. Simple. But not every egg is worth the same amount. Some eggs are worth more to a farmer, more to a buyer, and more to the flock that made them. What decides that value? It is not just whether a hen laid an egg today. It is a chain of biology and management that starts long before the egg reaches your kitchen. Think about the last carton of eggs you bought. Did you wonder why some eggs were bigger than others? Did you wonder why one farm's eggs feel firmer when you fry them, while another farm's eggs spread thin and watery? These differences are not random. They come from measurable traits that poultry scientists and farmers track every single day. To understand egg value, you need to follow the whole journey of a laying flock. It begins long before the first egg appears. Start with the young hen called a pullet. A pullet is not ready to lay just because she has reached a certain age. Her body has to be ready too. Farmers check two things closely. Body weight tells you whether she has grown enough to support egg production without breaking down her own health. Uniformity tells you whether the pullets in the flock are close to each other in size. Why does uniformity matter so much? Picture two flocks. One flock has pullets that are almost the same size. The other has a mix of small, medium, and large birds. Which one do you think will start laying evenly, all at a similar time? The uniform flock will. A mixed flock lays unevenly, and that unevenness carries forward into every stage that follows. Why does the body itself matter so much before laying even begins? A hen's skeleton, her reproductive organs, and her fat reserves all need to reach a certain point of development. If she is pushed into laying too soon, her body has to split its limited resources between finishing her own growth and producing eggs. Something has to give. Usually it is egg size, shell strength, or her own long-term health. This is why farmers weigh samples of pullets regularly, checking their progress against expected growth patterns for that particular strain. They are not just watching a number rise. They are watching for whether the flock is growing together at a healthy and even pace. So the first question a farmer asks is simple: are the young hens ready to lay? Once pullets reach the right weight and consistency, they enter sexual maturity. This stage answers a different question: did the flock begin laying at the right time? Two numbers matter here. Age at first egg tells you when the earliest hens start producing. Age at 50% production tells you when half the flock is laying an egg each day. Picture 100 hens in a barn. On one day, 50 of them lay an egg. That is the 50% mark. Why does this number matter more than the first egg alone? Because one early hen tells you very little. 50 hens laying together tells you the whole flock is maturing in a coordinated way. If a flock reaches 50% too early, the eggs tend to be small and the hens have not finished developing their own bodies. If it happens too late, the farm loses productive days it will never get back. Timing, not speed, is what matters here. Think of it like a runner starting a race. A runner who bursts off the line before they have stretched or warmed up may sprint fast for a moment, but they risk injury and a poor finish. A runner who waits far too long to start loses valuable time they can never recover. The flock is no different. The goal is not the earliest start. It is the right start, supported by proper growth, proper light exposure, and proper nutrition leading into that first egg. After the flock matures, egg production begins to climb. This is where you meet the egg production curve, and it is central to understanding value. Two terms often get confused, so pause and get them clear. Hen-Day production measures today's output using only the hens alive and laying right now. If a flock has 1,000 living hens and 800 eggs are collected today, Hen-Day production is 80%. Hen-Housed production is different. It looks back at the entire flock from the day it was originally placed in the barn, including hens that died or were removed along the way. If you started with 1,200 pullets, and today's collection is compared against that original number instead of the current living number, you get a lower percentage. Why track both? Hen-Day production tells you how well the living hens are performing right now. Hen-Housed production tells you how well the whole flock has performed since day one, including any losses. A flock can look excellent on Hen-Day numbers while hiding a serious problem in Hen-Housed numbers if many hens died early and only the strong survivors remain. As the flock matures, production usually rises quickly, reaches a high point called peak production, and holds there for a while before slowly declining as the hens age. The length of time a flock can maintain strong output after peak is called persistence. A hen that peaks high but drops quickly is very different from one that peaks slightly lower but holds steady for months. Which do you think is more valuable to a farmer over a full year? Usually it is the one with strong persistence because steady output supports predictable income and predictable planning. Picture the curve as a hill on a graph. It rises steeply at first, flattens out near the top for a while, and then slopes gently back down. The farmers who succeed are not the ones with the tallest peak. They are the ones with the longest, flattest stretch near the top. A short, sharp peak followed by a fast decline can look impressive for a few weeks, but it does not sustain a farm's income the way a long, gentle plateau does. So this stage asks its own question: how long can the flock keep laying well? Now here is where many people misunderstand egg value completely. They assume more eggs always means more value. It does not. This brings you to egg product value, and it is the heart of why one egg can be worth more than another. Egg weight is the most visible factor. Heavier eggs are usually more valuable in the market, but weight is only part of the picture. Egg mass combines the number of eggs with their average weight, giving a truer measure of how much edible product the flock actually produced. Two flocks can lay the same number of eggs, yet if one flock's eggs are consistently heavier, that flock has produced more total egg mass and more market value from the same number of birds. Then there is shell quality. A thin, weak shell cracks easily during collection, packing, or transport. Every cracked egg is an egg that cannot be sold at full price, or sometimes cannot be sold at all. Shell thickness and shell strength protect that value all the way from the barn to the store shelf. Internal quality matters just as much, even though you cannot see it from the outside. One of the most important internal measures is the Haugh Unit, a score that reflects how thick and firm the egg white is. Fresh eggs with dense, gel-like whites score high. Eggs that have aged or come from older hens tend to score lower, with thinner, more watery whites. According to poultry science research examining internal quality traits, Haugh Unit values are known to decline as hens age through the laying cycle, alongside natural drops in yolk index. Under standard USDA egg grading, a Haugh Unit score above 72 places an egg in the top AA quality tier, while scores between 60 and 72 fall into a grade, and anything below 60 signals weak internal quality. This is exactly why two eggs that look identical on the outside can behave very differently once you crack them into a pan. One holds its shape, the other spreads thin and flat. Yolk quality plays its own quiet role too. A firm, rounded yolk that sits high in the pan usually signals freshness, while a flat, wide yolk often signals an older egg. Diet also shapes what you see. Hens fed maize or pasture greens tend to produce richer, darker yolks, while hens on wheat or rice-based diets often produce paler yolks unless the feed is adjusted. None of this changes the egg's safety, but it does change how buyers perceive its value. So ask yourself the real question behind this whole stage. Are the eggs worth selling at their full value, or are they losing money through size, breakage, or poor internal quality that the eye cannot see? The final piece of the value story is efficiency and livability, and this is where farm profitability is decided. Feed conversion ratio compares how much feed a hen eats against how much egg mass she produces. A hen that eats efficiently and still produces strong egg mass is valuable, but feed conversion cannot be judged alone. According to research on layer feed efficiency, feed consistently represents the majority of total production costs on a layer farm, which is exactly why even small improvements in feed use can significantly affect a farm's bottom line. Still, a hen that eats very little but also produces very little is not efficient. She's simply small in output. A meaningful feed conversion number has to be read together with egg mass, hen health, and livability, which is the percentage of hens that survive and remain productive throughout the cycle. A flock with excellent feed numbers but poor livability is not truly efficient, because losing hens along the way erases those savings. This stage asks the final question: can the flock produce efficiently and stay healthy at the same time? Now bring all 5 stages back together. A pullet grows into a ready young hen. She matures and begins laying at the right time. Her flock rises to peak production and holds that level with strong persistence. Her eggs come out heavy enough, strong enough, and fresh enough internally to sell at full value, and she does all of this while eating efficiently and staying healthy alongside the rest of her flock. Every one of these stages depends on the one before it. A poorly grown pullet can still lay eggs, but rarely at full value. A flock that peaks early but cannot hold persistence still loses money later. A hen that lays constantly but produces weak shells is not actually valuable at all. It is worth remembering that none of these numbers are fixed targets that apply to every farm equally. Actual results depend on the hen's genetic strain, the climate she is raised in, her housing system, her nutrition program, her health status, and the quality of daily farm management. A number that looks strong on one farm may look average on another, simply because the underlying conditions are different. Good farmers do not chase a single ideal number. They track trends across all 5 stages and respond to what their own flock is telling them. So the next time you crack an egg into a pan, look at it for a second longer. That egg is not just food. It is the final result of a young hen's growth, the timing of her first lay, the strength of her production curve, the quality built into her shell and yolk, and the efficiency of the flock that raised her. One simple egg carries the entire performance story of the farm behind it.